Hello my Beatles friends, welcome back to another video. Finally, I am making the press review for the final Beatles album, Let It Be. Took me a while to find several other copies that I wanted to get for my collection, but I couldn't find for a long time. But now I have 18 copies to show you. And we're going to discuss the different pressings, the labels, the matrix numbers, box sets, the books. I'll try to make this video as short as possible, as effective as possible. So I'll be showing you a lot of pictures. I won't be showing you each and every record because 4 German records, absolutely identical. So I will count it as one. And the labels of British records, they look identical, but there are differences in matrices. So it's easier for me to show you pictures, okay? So let's go. Here are 6 pressings from UK. The first pressing from the box, another pressing from the box. This is the first export. This is the second export. And this is late 70s and this is 80s. These are the British ones. Now here are the Germans. The first 4 are the first pressings, so I will be counting them as one. This is the German first press, and this is the German second press. The only difference is the catalog number. Then we have Argentina, Israel, Spain, Portugal, France, Netherlands, and USA. This album was released in May 1970 after the Beatles broke up. But as we all know, it was recorded in the beginning of 1969, and several songs are from the movie that we know, from the Get Back movie and from the Let It Be movie, and several songs are from the Rooftop concert. What's interesting about this record is that in UK pressings there are 5 different variations of the matrix numbers. And this is how they look like. The first and the second variations have the same matrix number. And then we have the exports, which I will show you how to identify by the covers. But the exports have very interesting combination of the matrices. The side 1 is -3U, and the side 2 still has -2U. The export 2, the later one, has matrix number -4/-5. And notice they are without U. I will explain you about U later. Then we have third pressing, which has still 3U and /3U. And then pressing number 4, it has -3U/4. Have you noticed that some of them, the prefixes have either U or HTM? This is the indication of who was the mastering engineer. Those matrices that have U in the end are mixed by mastering and lacquer engineer Malcolm Davis. And those that have HTM were mastered by Harry Moss. Now, Harry Moss was mastering in 70s and 80s. He wasn't working on 60s Beatles albums. He was working on late 70s and early 80s. And it is known that he started to mark his records by the initials HAM only in the beginning of the 80s. So there are records cut by Harry Moss in the 70s, but without the initials. But those that do have initials, they are probably late 70s or beginning of the 80s. But the originals were cut by Malcolm Davis and they are marked by U. So this is the notable difference in the UK pressings. Now, how do we identify that it's first UK cover, it's a first export cover, second export cover, or late 70s and early 80s cover? Very easy. There are 4 different covers. First of all, if you look at this picture here, it has on its back red Apple logo, which is the indication of the first variation. If you look at this cover, it doesn't have Apple logo, it has Parlophone logo, which means this is an export. Now, with an export cover, you also have to look at the spine. If you look at this picture here, one spine shows you PPCS and the other spine shows you PCS. Now, the export cover with the Parlophone logo on its back with PCS, it's a later press. But with the PCS, it's the first export press. And the later cover has this kind of green Apple logo on its back. So it's very easy to identify which cover you have. Now, the covers that were inside the box, inside this box, they are red covers. The matrix of those records is -2U/-2U. So these are the differences in the UK pressings, which is a bit a mess, but I hope it's already clarified. There is also another export album that was released before the Apple export. The export was on Parlophone label. Now let's go to the Germans. This is the German label and it's identical to all Germans. The only difference between the first pressing and the second pressing is the catalog number, which you can see here. So the first pressing has the catalog number 062 and the second pressing has the catalog number 072. As to covers of the German ones, it's identical to a British, only we have here catalog number on top. And if you flip it, you still see here red Apple logo. So it's 99% identical to the British one that looks like this. So if you take the British one and you take the German one, except for the catalog number on the top right corner of the German, there is no difference between German and British. Next one, Argentina. It has here the sticker as stereo. Aside the text here on top, it's identical to the British cover, but the colors are a bit different. This one came with this beautiful inner sleeve that has Beatles on it. And this is the label. That's how it looks like. And you can see that the label of the Argentinian is a bit smaller. The Apple logo on the label is a bit smaller than the original. Next one, Israeli pressing. Now, as you can see, the Israeli pressing, the colors are a bit darker. This is the first cover that has actual color differences, because the German, the Argentinian and the British one, they are laminated, just like Israeli. Israeli one is also laminated, but as you can see, the colors are a bit boring, dark, and not so colorful. And if you look at the back, you can see the difference even more. The back here looks kind of bluish, and the pictures on a black and white, they are reprints, so the quality is a bit worse than the others. That's the label, as you can see here. It looks identical to the British one, but the distinct difference between Israeli labels and British ones, that it always has mono and stereo printed on it. But the matrix number on the Israeli is same as UK one, -3U/-3U. Next one, Spanish. This one is already not laminated, but the cover is glossy and the pictures are in a bad quality and they are too bright, too colorful, and they are blurry. So the quality of the printing is not as good, and it doesn't have the Apple on the back because it's Odeon, it's not an Apple. And this is how the label looks like. This is the only Let It Be album that I have in my collection that it's not on Apple label, it's on Odeon. Next one, Portugal. I have to admit that this pressing is the worst, sound-wise, cover-wise, everything. The pictures here are even worse than the Spanish. It's even more blurry, and the colors are mismatched. And if you look at the back, we do have here green Apple, which is not glossy. This is how the label looks like. But the quality of the cover of the paper is very flimsy and very thin. So I consider this one the worst press cover-wise for now. Then we have France. France has additional text here on the top, and here it has the catalog number. And if you look at the back, we have beautiful laminated cover with a sticker here on the back and the red Apple logo. And this is how the label looks like. We are talking about the pressing from Netherlands. The catalog number is 5C062. That's how the label looks like. That's the one. And the cover looks like this. Absolutely identical to the others, not laminated, glossy, but it's a copy of the British. So there is no difference in here. And the last but not least, this is from United States of America. This one is a thick cardboard cover. That's the only one in my collection and everybody's collection that it's a gatefold. And this is the back with a beautiful red apple. But what's interesting about this one, that if the UK had the green apple on the label but the red apple on the back of the cover, here we still have red apple on the back of the cover, but the label is also red. This one I will show you like this. This is the red label and the sliced apple is also red. Now, how do you identify that it's a first pressing? You have to look at this picture. You have to look at the song Maggie May. It says here P.D. arranged Lennon, McCartney, Harrison and Starkey. You have the names of the band. The second pressing omits the names. It only says P.D. That's it. So that's the difference between the first and the second. And also on the runouts, you have here several stampers that says Bell Sound, and side 1 it says Phil and Ronnie, and side 2 it says also Phil and Ronnie. There is a star and Bell Sound. There is a lot of interesting things pressed on the runout grooves of the American. I have listened to all my albums, all of them. And I have to admit that the worst sounding album in the entire collection is the one from Portugal. It has very flimsy and bad quality cover, but the sound is, it's like they covered the microphone with a cloth. The same thing that I said about the Yellow Submarine in my previous video. You actually don't hear the voice. You hear the noise, you hear the bass, you hear the music, but it's resembling more the noise than music. And the voice, you want to hear the voice, so you turn the volume up, you hear the music, you hear the noise, but you actually don't hear the voice. So high frequencies were actually cut. You cannot distinguish the voice. Same goes with the French one, but it's a bit better. Still, high frequencies and the voice is a bit low. You hear more basses, but it's more distinguishable. So I put this one in a penultimate place. Same with the French, but it's American, but here is quite contrary. You do hear the voice, you hear high frequencies very well, but you absolutely don't have a bass, you don't have low frequencies, nothing. It's like you are listening to raw demo. So this goes same to the French one. They're quite opposite. A bit better copy is a Dutch one, but still nothing to mention, nothing extraordinary. It's not as loud, okay, it's not as silent, but still nothing that stood out in comparison to German, UK, and the 3 others that actually surprised me. Spanish. Although it has bad quality cover, that's why it goes a bit down the list, but I was surprised by the sound. It's noisy, it's loud, it's clear. You hear the voices, you hear the high frequencies. The basses are a bit silent, but still way much better than the other 4. So this one surprised me very much, and I'm happy I have this Spanish one, because you can actually hear the voices, Lennon's voice on Across the Universe, and also I've Got a Feeling sounds fantastic. But I was a bit disappointed with the basses. I had to turn my bass on to keep the balance. A huge surprise. I'm gonna skip the Israeli for now. A huge surprise, one of the 3 best sounding records is Argentinian. There's nothing bad about it. It can be easily compared to the German and to the British ones. It's loud, it's noisy, it's clear. Nothing is cut. You do have the basses. You do have the high frequencies. I mean, I was really surprised with this pressing. This one is one of the three best. Now, if I have to compare the two Germans, I must admit that the later German, I was a bit disappointed. This, the catalog number 072, I was a bit disappointed. This one is cut. This one is not as loud as you expect from Germans. I think it was a cheap issue and I had to raise my volume. I had to lower the bass in order to hear the high frequencies and the voices. I mean, I was a bit disappointed with this one. So this goes lower in the list. Then we have Israeli. Israeli has the same matrix number as the third UK pressing. So there is nothing to compare. There is nothing to be disappointed here. It sounds exactly as British pressing. Loud and clear and noisy. When I was comparing all my 6 UK pressings, ones that were cut by Malcolm Davies or Harry Moss or The Mixture, I have to admit that I didn't hear differences, too many differences. Yes, there are, but you have to be very picky to hear them and to find them. I mean, there is nothing to complain here. The high frequencies, the low frequencies, it's loud and clear. I mean, nothing to complain. But when I listened to the German first press, I heard a significant difference. So for me, number one, surprise, number one pressing is a German first press. Yeah, I put this one higher than I put any of the British ones. Because this one sounds fantastic. This one sounds spectacular. It's like you are sitting there with them in the studio. You hear everything. You hear the... I mean, don't get me wrong. The British ones are also great. The British ones are absolutely. But when I put the needle on the loud section of the I Me Mine, I was blown away. Okay? I could easily hear the difference because I was putting them one after another, and I could easily hear the difference. And for me, the one to go is this German first press, which is 1C062-04433. This is the pressing that I prefer. So now it's time to talk about the box set and the book. Now let's talk about the boxes. This is the German box set. This cover here is a bit more blurry and dark than the original LP cover. And on the back, it's absolutely black. The only thing that it says here, designed by John Koch, photographs by Ethan A. Russell, printed and made in Germany by Heinrich Nikolaus GmbH, patents pending. This is the German. This here is another German, but the colors here are a bit brighter than the previous one. I have a British one. The colors are a bit brighter. But what's important with this box is not only the outer box or the record with the sleeve, it's what's inside the box. The first thing that has to be in the box is this inner tray. Mine is a bit used condition. It's known better days. But this one actually is the one that goes inside the box and holds the book, the inner tray and the record in it. And that's why to find it in a good condition is a bit problematic nowadays. Also in the box we have this inner tray, and here comes the book. Now this one actually is a replica. This is a not original because it's white here. The original has the paper has to be gray. But this one goes inside. But this one goes inside this tray like this, and then those flips close it back. That's how it goes. That's how it should look like. And the entire tray goes inside the box. So, needless to say that after using it several times, those boxes were trashed. So to find the box in a good condition and these trays in a good condition, it's quite a challenge. That's why there were smart people that came up with a very beautiful idea to make another box. But this one actually is a fake. And the easiest way to identify that it's a fake, first of all, you have to see the color here, which is white. And also this credit printing, which is 180 degrees upside down. So when you combine the box together, the text should be here on the bottom, but actually we have it here on top and it's upside down. So when you take the original box and you flip them, you immediately see the difference. The original has to have the text on the bottom and the fake has the text on top. So when you find this kind of flimsy box, don't throw it away. It's actually a nice display. Why not? And the book, the last but not least, the book. I have 4 books in my collection, and there are 2 interesting differences in the book. First of all, this is the book. Now we have to be very careful because the binding of this book is very fragile and the pages just fly away. So out of my 4 books, 2 of them are torn. But how to identify which kind of book you have? If you open the first page, you have both pages black. It's an indication that it might be a first pressing. And also, what's important to have, when you open this page that has credits, if the credits are not printed there, you need to have this insert with the credits. If you have this book, that means this is a first pressing. But if you have a book that when you open the page and you see the white page here, the first, and the cover is not as thick, it's a bit flimsy, and you flip to the page number 3 or 4, whatever that is, you see those credits printed inside the book, which means this book is a later press. So the original books came with a black cover and with the insert of the credits. Other than that, I couldn't find any differences. But be careful with the books because the binding is very fragile and the pages just fly away. Okay? So that was my take on Let It Be album and the press review. I hope you liked it. I hope my video was a bit helpful to identify which pressing you have and how to find it. And long story short, if you want to have the UK first pressing, the matrix number -2U/-2U, the cover with a red apple on the back, and the book black cover with the insert of the credits. And then you are set. Okay? Yeah. The inner trays of the book are a bit questionable, but still nice to have. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you liked it. Please comment, like, subscribe, hype, whatever you like. And if you think I made a mistake or missed something, please let me know in the comment section below. Thank you very much. Oh, it's time to wrap up. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.